एष देवो विश्वकर्मा महात्मा सदा जनानां हृदये सन्निविष्टः। ॐ सहनाववतु
ॐ सहनाववतु
सहनौ भुनक्तु
सहनौ भुनक्तु
सह वीर्यं करवावहै
सह वीर्यं करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
मा विद्विषावहै
मा विद्विषावहै।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
हरि ओम तत्सत। अभी जो श्लोक होने वाला है यहाँ से, ये बहुत गहन है, ये सीक्रेट भी है। ऐसा सभा में डिस्कस नहीं किया जाता था उपनिषद। तो हम प्रत्येक शब्द को व्याख्या करेंगे, लेकिन हमें और भी एक डिफिकल्टी है कि आई हैव द डिफिकल्टी दैट आई हैव टू मेक इट easy and applicable, because nobody wants to read the Shastras here. Those who want to read the Shastras, it would have been easy for me. I would have gone into the Shankarabhashya or my own interpretation into the philosophy or anything. But here I have to interpret each word and also relate it to our sadhana. So you understand how much of focus is necessary. Yes, little sound movement here, there will disturb the class. And it all depends on what will come out of the mouth. It does not depend on me so much. I know whatever I know, I have done whatever I have done. What will come out now will depend on all of you. It is depending on the ambience, whatever words are coming out. I will also be the listener for this. Always the classes, I am the first listener. We don't have control over the words. The ambience determines, and whatever is there inside, it comes out with that. So, shloka number 2.2.1. Puramekadashadvaram
पुरमेकादशद्वारम्
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 अजस्यावक्रचेतसः
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 अनुष्ठाय न शोचति
अनुष्ठाय न शोचति
विमुक्तश्च विमुच्यते
विमुक्तश्च विमुच्यते
अनुष्ठाय न शोचति
अनुष्ठाय न शोचति
विमुक्तश्च विमुच्यते
विमुक्तश्च विमुच्यते
एतद्वै तत्
एतद्वै तत्।
पुरम पुरम means the palace, house, etc. पुरम एकादश द्वारम द्वारम means door, gate, door, opening. Ekadasha means 11. That means he is talking about a palace which has got 11 doors. Through the door, what do we do? Those who stay inside, or the person who is the Grihas Swami or the owner of the house, he stays inside. He goes out and comes in through the doors. So doors are the opening for the interaction with the world. He is staying inside. And how does he interact with the world? By passing through the doors, either going out or coming in or whatever. So some doors are letting things in, some doors are allowing him to go out. Ajasya avakrachetasaha. Ajasya, this is called Shashti Vibhakti, that is of this. Aja. Aja means ja comes for Janma, from birth. Aja means birthless. Who is birthless? Now you must be knowing, we have already had 2 days class. Our Atma, the real identity, that doesn't have any birth. So he is referring to the Atma as Aja. Atma is called Aja. It is the name of the Atma. Because that is the only thing which does not undergo birth and death. It doesn't have birth. Just now, yesterday we studied na jayate na mriyate va kadachit abhipaschit. It's the same thing. All other things in the universe, they undergo birth and death. They are created and they are under the destruction. They are created, one day they will be destroyed also. The entire universe is created and will be destroyed. The entire object field, everything is having birth and death. Only the consciousness or the revealer of the world, or the Atma or the Brahman, in which the whole world is revealed or world is appearing to be, that does not have any change, any birth or any death, nothing like that. Ajasya means of the Aja, of the Atma. That means this Puram they are describing, the palace they are describing, it belongs to the Atma. It is not the Atma. This is the point here. It belongs to the Atma. It is hosting the Atma. Not even belongs, it is hosting the Atma. Avakrachetasaha. The word is avakracheta. Avakra. Vakra means crooked, winding up, complicated, crooked, complex. Vakra means actually bent. Avakra means straight, without any crookedness, without any bend. That is the avakra. The word is avakra cheta. That means whose cheta means the mind or the chetana, the consciousness, which is avakra cheta means it is again another term for the Atma, the Chit. Avakra cheta, why it is? Because there is no crookedness in it. It is absolutely straight. It doesn't have even birth and death. There cannot be any change. So where is the question of any bend or crookedness? Nothing is there. It is absolutely. Actually, when we say straight also, we think of an object straight. It is not the object. We cannot think of any bend there because it is not the object. It is the subject which is revealing all the bends, everything. Because it is straight, it can reveal all kinds of bends. Suppose it had a bend, then it will not reveal the things properly. If the mirror is a convex or concave mirror also, it will not show the things properly. Only when it is absolutely flat, it will show the things properly. So, in Shashti Vibhakti, it becomes Chetasaha. Avakra Cheta is the name for Atma. That means which is having no bends at all, no crookedness, absolutely Riju. Riju is the word, straightforward. He is called Avakra Cheta. In Shashti Vibhakti, it becomes Avakra Cheta Saha, like Nachiketa word, same. Those who know grammar, it is like Nachiketa. Nachiketa Saha means of Nachiketa. Here it is Avakra Cheta Saha means of the Avakra Cheta. That means two qualities, there are two terms they have used for the Atma. One is Aja, that means unborn. Another is Avakra Cheta. Both are referring to the Atma. Why are they referring to these different terms? What is the purpose? To tell us that what you are. Why are they using repeatedly different terms? Only to remind us that no, you are not Avakra Cheta, you are Avakra Cheta. You are not undergoing birth and death. You are immortal, you are deathless, you are birthless. So where is the fear? You are the abode of fearlessness. Unnecessarily you are complicating by your desires and clinging and all that and creating fear about it. This is the reason. Anusthaya means anushtan karke, by practicing. Na shochati. One, the sadhak, the seeker, who practices this truth, this tattva, that is whatever is spoken of in the first line, one who practices this truth, he never undergoes grief. Na shochati. Shoka is not there. He may have suffering, but in the suffering he will not have shoka. He may have happy situation, but in the happiness he will not have elation. Vimuktascha vimuchyate. Vimuktaha cha vimuchyate. Twice they have used. One is vimuktaha, he becomes a liberated. Muktaha means liberated. Vimuktaha means Vishesha Rupena Muktaha. That means he is well liberated. It is not that the one portion of his mind is liberated and the intelligence is not liberated. It's not like that. He is absolutely free. He is liberated because he identifies himself with the free Atma. And why again then Vimuchyate, that after becoming liberated, he gets liberated? What is the meaning? Because we have two concepts. One is called, the generally by knowledge we get liberated, we call it Jivan Muktaha, liberated while alive. All the knowers are generally referred to as Jivan Muktaha. They refer to as Jivan Muktaha Paramahamsa Parivrajaka, Jivan Muktaha Mahatma. That means they are liberated while their body, mind, personality is still alive. And when the body, mind, personality also gets their normal natural death, then they are called Videha Muktaha. That means they don't have any more Deha. And there is no question of rebirth or anything applicable to them. That is otherwise also. So, Vimuktascha Vimuchyate. That means in this life, on this earth itself, they get liberated. They live the life liberated thereafter, and finally they attain the Videha Mukti. That means when the body falls, there is no question of any further bondage. Etad vai tat. Etat vai tat. This indeed, O Nachiketa, is what you wanted to know. Etat vai tat. Vai is for emphasis. This indeed, O Nachiketa, this indeed is what you wanted to know. What did Nachiketa want to know? You should remember, 2 shlokas are there. Tell me. The first one is, anything remains when the body falls? He has already said, Vimuktascha vimuchyate. Another is, Anyatra dharmad anyatra dharmad. Is there anything beyond the codes of morality, beyond time, beyond space, beyond causality? It is avakracheta, it is beyond all these things. It is aja, it does not have any birth, death or anything. So this is what, but this is living in the Puram Ekadashadvaram, in the body itself. That palace he is referring to is the body. So to meet that Atma, or to become that Atma, or to know that Atma, you don't have to go to Yamaraja's palace, Nachiketa. You can do it in yourself. He is right within you. You are that body-mind palace. And in that he is residing. You know him there. You don't have to come to me, Yamaraja is saying. You don't have to come to Yamaraja's palace for that. You don't have. That means death is not necessary to know what happens after death. You should be able to read it very, the inner meaning. He asked what happens after death. He says death is not necessary to know what happens after death. Right within is the truth. You know it within yourself. That is what happens. So, etad vaitad, this word will be repeated in various cases. Oh Nachiketa, this indeed is what you wanted to know. That is, every time it comes, you have to refer back to the 2 questions Nachiketa asked. One is what happens after death. Another is what is beyond the duality, beyond causality, beyond space, time, beyond the moral code of conduct. Now, this Ekadashadvaram, the 11 doors, They are the indriyas and the holes, the openings through which we are interacting with the external world. We have 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears. These are and mouth. 7 here. Then we have lower down, we have the navel and the upastha and guhya, that is the urinary organ, and the anus. That is 1, 2, 3 there. 7 plus 3, 10. What is the 11th? They call it Brahmarandra. Here 2 are there which are not, we are not very conversant. One is the navel, one is lower down the navel, another is the Brahmarandra. Now, navel is an opening because before birth, the fetus is taking all the nutrition, everything is going through the navel. Other indriyas have not opened. We hear, they are able to hear and all, but how they are hearing is yet to be perhaps discovered fully. The ears, eyes, everything, it is happening inside. We have as long as we have the Chaitanya, we have the Chaitya Drishti also. We need not be always depending on the eyes, everything. Whatever it is. Now that is the navel which we are not generally using. Another is the Brahmarandra, which they say that the knower's life, our life goes out from the Brahmarandra. It is linking us to the prana, to the cosmic prana, that is said. But in the yogic practice or in the sadhana, we have a direct experience of it, that when you try to focus here, if you can in your meditation, you focus here at the Brahmarandra. Actually, it is not at the Brahmarandra, but a little above there. The focus should be a little beyond. Even if you if you do it here, later on it will go up. Now, there is a time when you will find there is a opening up. As if something opened up here, and you will have the bodiless experience. This is an experience yogis have. We can say from our experience also, it has. But everybody need not have also. Or may have at the death time also. That I cannot say. But I can say that we can have it right whenever we want. Now, what happens is that don't get deluded by that also. We are in the modern world scientific people. Even if you have a bodiless experience, any experience is created by the brain. That experience also, as the brain can produce a body full experience, the brain can produce the bodiless experience also. But we should also remember that all the experiences, including the body, mind, brain, everything is an appearance in the consciousness. That also we should not forget. The ultimate is the consciousness. Ultimate is the Atma or the soul. Now this Brahmarandra is the connection to the cosmic prana, that generally people say that. I have heard that when they die, that this portion has become soft and all. They say, I don't have a practical experience of that. I have not tested a dead body like that. But people say various things about it. But I can say that if you do this, you will have immediately that liberated feeling, that bodiless experience will be had. In Janaka and Ashtavakra Samhita, he is saying, Yadi deham prithak kritva, Yadi deham prithak kritva, Chiti vishramya tishtasi, Adhunaiva sukhi shanto, bandhamuktaha bhavishyasi. It speaks about an instant liberation. That if you can somehow get detached from the body, Yadi deham prithak kritva, that I am not the body, I am the seer of everything. By concentrating on that, if you can get released, separated from the body, adhunaiva sukhi shanto bandha muktaha bhavishyasi. Now here itself you will become liberated. Bandha muktaha, because you won't have any of the bondages created by the body. Sukhi, it is a great blissful experience. The release, that prithak, the separation from the body, it's a great blissful experience. Shantaha, there won't be at that time operating any desire or anything. You will be fulfilled at that time. But we are saying it instant liberation because again you will get bound. It is a time limited experience. You will have the experience. The moment the experience goes, you will again come back to the body and you will be haunted by same desire, same everything. But this experience will help you to get over all these things because you have known what is this bodiless experience. That will definitely help you. The final liberation can come only from the actualized knowledge that I am the consciousness, I am not the body mind personality. It is not a state, it is not a time limited. This bodiless experience you can refer to as I had it on such and such day, such and such time. We can note down in the diary and read out also. We can have it. But then after that, what happened? After that, you are again bound. But certainly that experience, as any experience in life, will help you to grow if you want to grow. If you don't want to grow, then no experience will help you. If you want to grow, it will help you. So these experience, any experience like that, this experience is a great help in proceeding with the knowledge and finally actualizing the knowledge. So this is what the Brahmarandra is. In other sense also, in Yoga Shastra, you will find that there are lotuses at each nerve joint or so. You start from the Mooladharam and go upward, and finally it is the Sahasrara. When our Chetana, our focus, our consciousness meets the Sahasrara, that is called the liberation point. We call it Shiva Shakti Milana, the meeting point, marriage of Shiva and Shakti also. All these are there in Tantra, various things are there like that. All these models can be explained from that. It's not that there are really lotus flowers here, and one is opening after one. But when the Chetana moves upward, you will find the opening means the untying of the knot. Our focus is always lowered down generally. That focus has to be raised upward. So there we do by the concentration. By the Yoga Shastra we do concentration. Otherwise also, if you want to focus on the Atma, trying to know I am the Sakshi, I am not the body, I am not the mind, then automatically the Chetana will move up. It will be focused on the all-pervading Atma, which is not bound by the body. So in each, as it goes up, they call it Kundalini. In Yoga Shastra, they call it Kundalini. That is, it is an opening up of the nerve centers. That is an experience we feel. No snake is there to go up and all. These are all delusions. Actually, the Chetana, the experience goes up. That you feel that the Chetana is rising up, and finally when it meets here in the Sahasrara, it opens up and you have the bodiless experience there. So these are why they are saying it is also an Randhra, because this is also a seat of experience. All the Indriyas are seat of experience. They are connecting us to different experiences. Some might be worldly, some might be otherworldly or spiritual, non-worldly also. Whatever it is, that is also a world. Any experiences of the world. So this is the secret truth about Puram Ekadashadvaram. This is the palace I, the Atma, has, where the Atma resides. Now comes Aja. This I have explained in great detail over the last few days, that you remember the Mundakopanishad sloka also and Kathopanishad also, that it does not have birth, does not have death. And what cannot have birth, cannot have death is, which is beyond causality. All other things, objective things, are within the fold of causality. But the consciousness, which is not an object, suppose there is a change. When there is a change, to see the change, am I not the knower of the change? So the change, it may not be a gross object, but it is a subtle object. Suppose we have a concept of God. We have an idea about God. Am I not the knower of that concept? So God is an object for me, because I, the consciousness, is revealing that concept in my mind. Suppose a thought has come in my mind. How am I knowing? That consciousness is revealing that thought. So is not thought a subtle object to that consciousness? Subject is only that consciousness. Forget about the thought. When there is so-called unconsciousness, that is no current awareness. Suppose you had an accident and within a few seconds or minutes you get back awareness and you think that there is a gap, that I did not know anything. Is it not? Those who have the experience, they will know. Sleep also it happens, but we don't know about it. But when it is an experience in the wakeful state, then suddenly we have a gap we created. Suppose the consciousness had not revealed that vacuum or the signal, zero signal state. Let us call it zero signal state. If the consciousness had not revealed, this gap filling would not have been there. But you will not be able to say whether the gap is 1 year or 1 second or 1 minute, because there was no current awareness at that time. Am I clear? But you will definitely know that there's a blank is there. You may find that I am in hospital, that you will compare with the outer situation and then conclude. But the gap filling, you don't have to look outside. Even if your eyes are closed, you will know that suddenly. The same thing happens in samadhi also, because the current awareness is still there. You know the gap, what is it? That consciousness we come to know. Here we are concluding that because this gap is felt, that means this no signal state is also revealed by the consciousness. But in samadhi, the current awareness is there. We will come to it again later, the slokas are there, which will say that what is it. So we come to know who am I, who is the consciousness. Now, so this, because our focus is always on what is revealed, we are missing this revealer. This aja or birthless is only the revealer. Any change in that, any concept, anything is an object before it. Now, if this is the truth about the house owner who is living inside, then how to get at him from this house? So there comes the viveka. Viveka means discrimination. We can find out that who am I? That discrimination comes, that it is the house is belonging to the aja avakracheta. Now, how we will know that I am the aja, I am the avakracheta? So when we look at it, we find that I say that I am sick today. But sometimes I say that my body is very sick, very ill today. There is definitely a confusion, because the same body I am referring to as my body and I also. Subject-object confusion. So which is the correct statement, more correct? Body is an object before me and I am seeing that object and referring to its state. Another way is that any change, to know any change, it has to be with respect to an unchanging substratum or background. Suppose the clock, the arm is moving. If the dial also start moving, you will not know the time. The arm moves against the steady dial, that is why it reveals the time. Like that, the body was small. As far back I remember, maybe I was 2 years old or 3 years old, the body was so small, it was going around, playing here and there. Then I grew up. Now I have become old. Like this, the whole change of the body I am seeing. Is it not so? So I am not the body, but I am the knower of the body, the seer of the body. Next step, you go further in, we may say that no, this seeing it is being done by the mind. I am saying, say the contradictory, the other counter yukti will be, no, this change of the body is seen by the mind. Okay, we accept, but let us look at the mind. The mind also is changing every moment. Just now I was sorry, coming to the class I became quite cheerful, or coming to the class I became morose because I am not understanding anything whatever it is. These are all the changes in the mind. Is it not? So I am the seer of the mind also. Mind means all the thoughts, they are changeful. But because I have not changed, I am able to know. Even I can say that when I was a child, I was always happy, but after marriage, I became most of the time unhappy. Who is observing? That means I am seeing the mind. So I am the seer and mind is an object before me. All the thoughts are object before me. Emotions, whatever emotions are coming, going, etc. Sometimes it is love, sometimes it is hatred, sometimes it is agitation. All this I am seeing. So I am the seer of everything. Then who that I is? Who I am? I am the seer of all these things. Then how can I find that I, who is the seer of all these things? So we try to go inward to locate that, who is that Aja, who is that real inhabitor of the body, who is there. We try to locate that. Now when we go in and in, no, I am not the body, I am not the mind, that means you have to leave one after another. You cannot get caught in the bodily pain. Oh, it's very painful. Then your meditation will not be there. Oh, today I am very sorry, this happened, that happened, he abused me for nothing. You get caught by that. Then meditation will not be there. You have to keep yourself as a seer of all these things. You have to keep the separation. You have to remain as the witness, as the sakshi of all these things. So to remain a sakshi, what will you do? Whenever the thoughts are coming, the moment office thought has come, you have already reached the office and you are facing the boss or the employee and talking to them or shouting at them, or they are shouting at you. That means you have moved with the thought. So you are not the seer of the thought, you have become the thought. So you have to remain separate but see the thought of the office coming. If you don't get involved in the thought will go. It will not. We are fueling the thought by joining the thought and moving to the office or moving to whatever I am thinking. The moment we keep away as a witness and allow the thought to come and go, thought will not remain, another thought will come. But if you can just from a distance see the thoughts coming and going, never getting affected. Suppose a thought has come, I have killed my mother. Oh, why did that thought come? Is that in my mind and all? You get involved again. Let it come and go. Suppose very delightful thought has come, you have become a self-realized person. Oh, I have become gone. Let that thought come and go. You have to remain a witness. So, to remain witness, our Baba had given a beautiful example here. He said that in one line he would write sometimes, very rarely. He said that, Nodir pader mara babla gachtar moton dekhe jao. Be like the dead babul tree. Babul tree, you know, the thorny tree which doesn't have much leaves and all. Huh? Kikar. Babul, कांटेदार है. Be like the dead babul tree standing on the bank of the river. Many boats are going. Suppose one boat is going through the river, passing through the river with a marriage party. Does the babul tree get into the river and get into the boat and start enjoying with the marriage party? It just sees that to a dead babul tree. But it has awareness, it is not fully dead. That. Then the next, our dead body is carried and people are weeping, howling, wailing. The babul tree doesn't get affected by that also. It sees the sorrow, it sees the merrymaking, it sees the joy, it sees the sorrow. It remains where it is. That is what? Remaining the witness, as a witness. So, if we remain witness like that, the thoughts will no more disturb us. In our meditation, always our problem is the thoughts are disturbing us. Thoughts are disturbing because we are getting involved in the thought. Now, if we allow the thoughts to come and go, we will find that what my consciousness of the Atma or the substratum is, that is not undergoing any change at all. Thoughts are only like waves in that. Material has not undergone any change. It is like in the air, sometimes a little motion is there, sometimes it is still. It is like that only. So there, to know, that also does not complete our knowledge of the self. So we may remain witness, but who am I who is remaining the witness? When we try to know, I have told earlier also, the greatest delusion which becomes the greatest hindrance for this also is we try to know the self or the Atma as something I am knowing. That is, as something different from me. Our effort is such that we want to know self as a different person. As a person, I want to know the self. So the knower and the known remains different. By our very effort, we are making self non-self. We are making the self an object, trying to know the self as an object before me. So our effort is the self-destructive. It is self-defeating. It is making the self non-self. So it will never going to be successful. When we discovered that it is my effort to know the self, that is becoming the hindrance. You have to drop the desire for knowing the self also. When you drop the desire means what? Drop the effort. I don't know anything. Let me go anywhere the Lord takes me or the Guru takes me. I drop all my desire. I will not think anything. I will not conclude anything. I will not apply my intelligence to analyze anything also. I will remain like a buddhu, mudha, zero, like a great duck. Just. When we leave that effort, then only the self can reveal itself. Suppose the people ask, who then knows the self? If anybody else knows the self, then that is not the self. But the knower is the self. So it is a knowledge which is a very, very special kind of a knowledge where the knower and the known and the knowing process have got merged. This is called Advaya Anubhuti or Aparoksha Jnana or Aparoksha Anubhuti. Why Aparoksha Anubhuti? Because in normal level in Western science, we know of only two kinds of knowledge. Pratyaksha and Paroksha. Direct, perceptional knowledge and inferential knowledge. Is it not? What we see with the indriyas, with the sense organs, what we touch, what we see, they are perceived, they are all direct perception. And what we infer from that, they are the inferences, inferential knowledge. Most of our knowledge are inferential. The whole science is inferential. Nobody has seen an atom or an electron or a proton. They are all inferences based on the direct perception. We see a track in the cloud chamber and we say that because it has gone like this, the particle which has gone is negatively charged or positively charged or no charge. It is positron, it is electron, it is neutron. All these things are inferential. Otherwise, why our conclusion will change every day? Once we thought they are particles, then we thought they are waves, then we thought they are wave particles, then we think that they are Schrodinger equation, Schrodinger wave. All these, because they are actually a model, an inference. Most of our knowledge is inference. What we are seeing directly, from there we are inferring. We inferring that the sun is there. What we are seeing is an image and we infer from that. God is an inference. We see everything is causal. In this world, nothing comes unless there is a cause behind it. The cause produces the effect. So where from the universe has come? See, we have to analyze our question also. When we think that where from this whole universe, who created this universe? It is the causality working in our mind. Because everywhere we find that something has to be created by something else. That is, cause has to produce an effect. We are asking for the creator of the universe. That is why the Shastrakaras had to manufacture a great Brahma who is a Swayambhu and who has created the universe. All fictitious. They have done it for people. They know that no such Brahma is there. It is our mental concept. It is an inference that there has to be a creator. When we go to the truth, we understand that the causality is limited. It is not the cause has to be there everywhere. Causality is functioning in this created universe. If you want to go to the ultimate truth, it has to be beyond causality. There is no question of any creator at all. The whole thing is appearing in the consciousness. So that is how we have to enter the Aja and Avakracheta, who is hosted in this Ekadasha Puradvaram, Puram Ekadasha Dvaram. That means 11 opening, the palace with 11 opening, he is hosted there. Now he is saying that Anushtaya, this Anushtaya is very important. Anushtana means worshipping, some ceremony, whatever we practice, etc. So is it that doing yaga, yajna, etc.? By doing yaga, yajna, this cannot be known. This Anushtana can only be by contemplating on our real nature of the self. Swaswarupānusandhānam. Swarupa. What is our real nature? What we are in essence. Anusandhanam. To look for that and forget about everything else. That is the Anushtana. That is focusing with one pointed focus on what is our real nature. Focusing on that and forgetting everything else. They call it Eka Tattva Ghanabhyasa. Eka Tattva Ghanabhyasa. Abhyasa means practice. What is this practice? Eka Tattva, that there is no two truth at all. It's the one, and it is one we are saying. Actually, it is beyond one. Because when we say one, there is a concept of two and many. That means it is not two, it is not many. But this one host, all the many, everything, infinitude, everything is hosted there. So it is not really one, but transcendental. Going to one, finally we go to the transcendental level. So Eka Tattva, this is the Tattva, this is the truth, this is the essence. Ghana means there is no interruption. Ghana means thick, dense, with no gap, no intersperse, with not interspersed with anything. Normally our thoughts, वो थोड़ा सा पढ़ लिया, उसके बाद क्या खा लिया आज, कुछ खा लिया ब्रेकफास्ट, बीच में कुछ और भी आ गया, बातचीत करने लगे, कुछ गाली भी दे दिया, सब कुछ हो रहा है, बीच में थोड़ा सा फिर उपनिषद पढ़ लिया. ऐसा नहीं है. एक तत्व घनाभ्यास, दैट माइंड शुड बी वन पॉइंटेडली फोकस्ड ऑन दिस. दैट इज द अनुष्ठाना. स्वस्वरूपानुसंधानम. Shankaracharya says, Dhyanam hi tasya anushtanam samyak vijnana purvakam tam sarvaishana vinirmuktaha san samam sarvabhutastham dhyatva. That means sarva eshana vimuktaha san. Why are they saying sarva eshana vimuktaha? Eshana means desire. Three kinds of desire they categorize, that Putraishana, Vittaishana and Lokaishana. Now Putraishana people may not have, those who have enough of children they may not have, or others also may not have. Now many people do not want children also. Vittaishana, that Putraishana means desire for sex also, whether for children or not, that also. That many people may not have. Then Vittaishana, that means desire for wealth. That also many people may have overcome, outlived. They may not have. But Lokaishana is very difficult to get rid of. Lokaishana is generally interpreted as the desire for fame. It need not be fame. We find in the ashram those who have renounced also, they are also looking for a little satisfaction, appreciation from here, appreciation from there. या कोई visitor आ गया, कुछ बड़ा कुछ बता दिया तो बहुत खुश हो गया. We don't think how much of a sadhaka quality we have, but somebody said you are great sadhak. Oh, very happy. Who is a great sadhak? What are the qualities? They will not see. So we are looking for this location. Or some people are listening to me. I have become a karta, I have become a manager. So some people are listening to me. That is also location. Kartritva, bhoktritva, everything. One is, the others are bhoktritva. Here it is kartritva is involved. This kartritva, the karta feeling, it doesn't go. Even in our small circle also, we want to be somebody. So lokeshana will not go easily. So these are the three types of eshanas or desires. He says that sarvaishana vinurmuktaha san, forgetting all these desires, and that is also not over. Samam sarvabhutastham dhyatva, that which is equally in everywhere. Which is equally present everywhere? Atma. It is not only equally present everywhere, but the everything is appearing in it. And there is nothing to be uneven because it is all made of consciousness. That is, consciousness is also not a material. It is in the subjective level. Am I becoming too difficult whenever we refer to this? Repeatedly I mention so that it remains in your mind that otherwise always we will think consciousness is an object, and with that consciousness I have written Punita, I have written Sanjay and all those things. No. You cannot see it as an object. You cannot witness it as an object. It is a self-witness of the self. That's all. It cannot be seen as an object. So this is the dhyana they are calling as anusthaya. So we have to know when the Upanishad is saying anusthaya means anushthan karke. That means by practicing. What is the practice they are referring to? They are referring to the Upanishadic practice of eka tattva ghana abhyasa. In Mundaka Upanishad it will come with the example of pranavo dhanu sharohi atma brahmatal lakshya muchyate apramattena vedhavyam sharavat tanmayo bhavet. They are taking the example of archery. He is saying, consider pranavo dhanuhu. Pranavaha means Omkara. Omkara is the symbol of the Brahma Vidya. It is only a symbol, but it means Brahma Vidya, the truth, the ultimate truth. Pranavo dhanuhu. Dhanuhu, that bow is the Brahma Vidya. Sharo hi Atma. What is the arrow you are fixing? The Atma. Brahmatal lakshya muchyate. What is the goal of the Atma? The target? Brahman. Because the Atma is nothing but the Brahman. We don't know. We are thinking the Atma is small like the arrow. But that arrow will have to hit the Brahman and become the Brahman. Is it not so? Brahmatal lakshya muchyate apramattena vedhavyam. The what is needed is apramattata. Apramattata means what? Pramada means inattention. Inattention. After 3 times telling the mobile should be off, also we keep the mobile on. Or taking it out, looking at it and again keep it back. ये हमेशा होता है, हर लेक्चर में होता है. It is inattention. Or mind is taken away by some desire. So we are not attentive about it. जब किसी को खिलाते हैं, चाय डाल रहे हैं तो चाय ग्लास से भर के बाहर गिर रहा है और हम उधर ही देखते रहें. Why? Whatever we are doing, why the mind is not fixed there? Because the mind has been taken away by something else. What is that? That is the eshana. Something is troubling the mind. उसने क्यों बोला था? हम क्यों ये नहीं बोला? कल ये जवाब देंगे. या उसने क्यों ये नहीं किया? हमारे ऊपर सारा लोड है. कुछ चल रहा है मन में. ये नहीं चल रहा कि हमें अभी पानी देना है या चाय देना है. जो चाय पूछ रहा है उनको कॉफ़ी दे दिया. जो कॉफ़ी पूछ रहा है उसको पानी दे दिया. During meditation, we will think of the prayer. While doing the prayer, we will think of meditation नहीं हो रहा. While going to the market, we will think of meditation आज नहीं कर पाया. जब meditation कर पा रहा तो आज market में कुछ नहीं मिला. This is called pramattata, pramada. So apramattena vedhavyam. While we are trying to hit, there should be nothing other than eka tattva ghanabhyasa, the Brahman and nothing else. Then what will happen? Apramattena vedhavyam sharavat tanmayo bhavet. It is more than sharavat. Sharavat means like the arrow. When the arrow hits the bullseye, it remains there. If it has to be a powerful, which goes to the bullseye and hits there and remains there. Now it is not only remaining there. Tatmaya, tanmayo bhavet. The arrow going there, it becomes the bullseye. The Atma hitting the Brahman, there is no more Atma, it is the Brahman alone. Yesterday I read 2 shlokas. Yathodakam shuddhe shuddham asiktam tadrigeva bhavati. Evam mune vijanata atma bhavati gautama. Like pouring pure water in pure water. And also, yatha nadyas sanyamanaha samudre astam gacchanti namarupe vihaya. Tatha vidvan namarupad vimuktaha paratparam purusham upaiti divyam. All are meaning the same. By going to the Brahman, he becomes the Brahman. Brahmavid brahmaiva bhavati. That Sharavat, that Shara identity will no more be his identity. He will identify only with the Brahman. The previous shloka is Dhanurgrihitva Upanishadam Mahastram Sharam Hyupasa Nishita Sandhayita Ayamya Tadbhavagatena Chetasa Lakshyam Tadevaksharam Soumya Viddhi. Lakshyam Tadevaksharam Soumya Viddhi. He says, Dhanurgrihitva Upanishadam Mahastram. Take the bow, which is the Upanishadam Mahastram. Upanishadam Mahastram means it is not a Mahastra from the arsenal of nuclear. It is the weapon is from the Upanishad. Brahman is called Upanishad Brahman. You cannot say that Brahman concept I will take from this literature or that literature from anywhere in the world. No. Brahman has been defined in the Upanishads. So when you are referring to Brahman, you have to refer to the Upanishad. What is that? So learn from the Upanishad very well what is this concept of Brahman. Then take it as the Mahastra, as the bow. Dhanurgrihitva Upanishadam Mahastram. Then put the arrow, Sharam Hyupasa Nishita Sandhayita. Sandhayita means you engage the arrow. What kind of an arrow? Upasa Nishita. That means the arrow, that means our own mind, etc., which has been greatly sharpened and made subtle by upasana and all. That means all the other practices, dhyana, upasana, all are upasana. It has to be sharpened. It cannot go to always to the market and thinking about the worldliness and everything and suddenly sit and do it. It cannot be done. It has to be sharpened. It has to be made subtle and pure through all the practices suggested in the Upanishads. Sharam hyupasa nishita sandhayita. Then what do? Ayamya tadbhavagatena chetasa. Ayamya means if you cannot pull it very taut, the arrow might be released, but it will go and hit or may not hit. And even if it hits, एक सेकंड में ब्राह्मण को देख लिया था, बाद में नहीं है, कुछ गिर गया और कॉम्प्लेसेंट बन गया कि हमें तो हो गया है सब कुछ, और क्या है. स्वामी जी बोला है इंटरेक्शन साधना. हम तो दिन भर इंटरेक्शन साधना करते. साधना को छोड़ दीजिए, दिन भर इंटरेक्शन करते हैं, साधना कहीं भी नहीं है. So all kinds of excuses and complacencies are there. So it has to be ayamya tadbhavagatena. How will you engage that energy, that force? Tadbhavagatena chetasa. Tat bhava, not world bhava, not vishaya bhava. Our mind is full of vishaya bhava, worldly bhava. Tat bhava means the ultimate truth, the essential truth. That bhava will fill the mind. Tat bhava gatena chetasa. The mind has been given over to that, has got merged in that. The chetasa, meaning that cheta. The mind which has been completely engaged in that bhava. Then your dhanush, your bow, you will be able to pull with that bhava. And when you release it, it will go and get fixed in the bullseye. And finally, it is not only fixing in the bullseye, but tanmayo bhavet. Sharavat tanmayo bhavet. This is from Mundakopanishad. So this is the anusthana. This I am explaining the word anusthana. What is that anusthana? Because they are saying anusthayana shochati. That means by anusthana, you will be relieved of all grief. So people will think it is very easy. No, we will practice and we will be released of grief. But grief nahi jata hai. Grief will not leave you. Why? Because the anusthana has to be a proper anusthana. Tapasobi alingat. In Mundakopanishad says that. Nayamatma balahine na labhyo nacha pramadat tapasopi alingat. This Atma cannot be had by the weaklings. very intelligent, very good, always standing first, but अंदर में कोई शक्ति नहीं है, weakling है. Intelligent हो सकता है. It needs the greatest power because you have to get anchored to the soul. You have to fight against everything, all the odds of the world without any fear. So he says, Nayamatma balahine na labhyaha nacha pramadat. If you are suffering from inattention, know that it is because of the desires or the remaining part of the desires, the seed of the desires. Don't say that I don't have any desire. It is there, that is why. So, nacha pramadat tapaso vapi alingat. Tapasaha vapi alingat. Alingat means there is improper tapas. You are doing enough tapas. You want knowledge and you stand on one leg for 50 years. Will you have knowledge? If you stand on one leg under the sun for 50 years, will you have knowledge? You have to activate your intelligence to have the knowledge. You have to think, you have to do vichara, you have to compare with yourself, you have to introspect. So, anushtaya means that, the proper tapas, not alingat. It has to be a proper tapas. And this, I described, what is this anushtana? We described with the Dhanurgrihitva Upanishadam Mahastram and all. It has to be Eka Tattva Ghanabhyasa. Then only Nashochati will come. When the shoka will go, when we have hit the bullseye and Saravat Tanmayo Bhavet, then the shoka will not be there. In Chandogya Upanishad, Narada Maharshi, who knows everything going around the world, he suddenly one day met Sanat Kumara. Narada Maharshi was old, Sanat Kumara was a small boy. But Sanat Kumara's brilliance, seeing his brilliance, he could understand that he is a knower. But our Shikidvaja did not understand that his wife is a knower. Because Shikidvaja did not have that kind of a practice like Narada Maharshi. To identify the Guru also one has to be pure in mind. As your mind is, that kind of a Guru you will have. Don't blame the Guru. You have been led to a Guru according to your own desires. If you want fame, reputation, etc., you will run to a person who is very famous. If you want magic, you will run to a person who shows magic. If you want some very harsh tapasya sitting in the forest, you will go to a person who is sitting in the forest and doing such tapasya. If you want knowledge, you will go to a person. If you want knowledge means theoretical knowledge, you will go to a person who is always reading shastras and lecturing and all, like us. But if you want real knowledge, then you will look for, if you want purity, then you will look for purity. If you want peace, then you will look for a person who radiates peace and purity. If you want simplicity, you will go to a person who radiates simplicity like a child. So never blame the Guru, जब उनके पास गया था हमारा जीवन नष्ट हो गया. You go according to your own desire. Your desire takes you there to the place. And going there also, if you have other desire, then going to a proper person also, you will not get it. Because you will want something else from him which he is not prepared to give. So, Narad Maharshi understood that this Sanat Kumara, the brilliance of Sanat Kumara, and he told him that, give me some knowledge, give me knowledge. Sanat Kumara said that, I have to give you knowledge, I have to first understand what you know and what you do not know. Please tell me what you know. So there is a one paragraph in Chandogya Upanishad where Narada Maharshi says, he knew everything, all the 4 Vedas, the 6 Vedangas, then Sarpa Vidya, black magic, white magic, astrology, everything, nothing on earth he did not know. Everything he knew. Including the 4 Vedas means Upanishads also. All the Upanishads included. But after finishing, he says that Mantravidoham asmi natu atmavid tarati shokam atmavid. He says, I am mantravid, mantravidoham asmi. I know all the topics, whatever on earth, everything I know. But I know only the mantras. That means the words. I have read everything. I know everything. And by heart also perhaps. But Mantravidoham asmi natu atmavid, but I have not known my own self. How do you say you don't know self? You have read all the Upanishads, all the Vedas and other things, everything you have read. You are going around as a parivrajaka for yugas. How do you say you don't know the self? Tarati shokam atmavid. He says, I have heard that if you know the self, then you will overcome grief. I am suffering from grief. I have not overcome grief, so I don't know the Atma. See, he himself is saying that grief has not gone. This is his humility, that grief has not gone, so I have not known. So he is coming to Sanat Kumara for Upadesha. So, na shochati, this word will come again and again in Upanishad as well as Bhagavad Gita also. When does the shoka goes? When we find no dvitiya in this, no second, that everything is one, there is nothing to fear. There is no loss, no gain also from the objective universe. If you gain a little more of money, property, anything, it is all in your mind. Is it not? If you don't know that you have won a lottery of 15 crores, the moment the knowledge comes, you die of heart failure. Is it not so? Till then you don't know that there is no joy. So it is all in our mind. If you lose also, suppose you have a brain attack and all, and you have lost all property, will it affect you? You don't know that you have lost. It is all in the mind. So, gaining from anything from the world or losing anything here, nothing happens to us. Only then you will be overcoming the shoka. You will not have shoka. So he says, Anushtayana shochati. Here causality is there because it is the sadhana. What is that? If the shoka has not gone, that means the anushtana has not been done proper. If I have enough of viveka and I am complacent about my viveka, I have understood all nitya nitya vastu viveka, atma anatma viveka, kshetra kshetrajna viveka, kshetra kshetrajna vibhaga yoga, all the viveka I know, everything I have, still do not have vairagya. That means your viveka is not proper. It has not fruitioned into vairagya. Viveka must give rise to vairagya. If vairagya doesn't come, then your viveka is of no use. If you do not have the shamadamadi shadga sampatti, but you have enough of viveka and vairagya, you are wrong, you are deluded. If you have viveka and vairagya, then shamadamadi shadga sampatti will enrich you, adorn you. Must adorn you. If you don't have it, then go back and see that where the viveka is lacking. So, that is why if you do the proper anusthana, then shoka should not be there. If shoka is still haunting you, then do the anusthana. Look into the anusthana. Improper anusthana is being done. Vimuktascha vimuchyate. Then he gets liberated while alive. He does not have to go to the Brahmaloka and then further to get liberation. He becomes liberated here itself. Atra Brahma samashnute. Yaivatairijita sargo yesham samya sthitam manaha. Nirdosham hi samam Brahma tasmad brahmanite sthitaha. Here itself. Yaivatairijita sargo. Remaining here, he wins over the entire world, whose mind is stabilized in this samatva. It's nothing different from the stabilized in Brahman. Why? Because Brahman is nirdosham hi samam Brahma. The Brahma, what is this Brahman? It does not have any dosha, any division, any bheda buddhi. Even the subject-object division is not there. Tasmad brahmanite sthitaha. Therefore, he is established in the Brahman. I did not complete that part. Now the paroksha and I was talking about inference and that part certainly I left it. Actually, the third one we have, which is not there. Generally, it is paroksha and pratyaksha and paroksha. These two are common. But in our Shastras, we have another kind of a knowledge which is called aparoksha. That means which is neither inference, not a direct perception. Neither inference, not a direct perception. Generally, we refer to aparoksha as the Advaita Anubhuti when the subject-object division goes and we become the self. Through that we know that we are the self. But it can be used in the general sense for other purposes also. For example, that I am, that you are, is it a perception? With your eyes, can you see that I? With your ears, can you hear that I? Even if you lose all your faculties, will you not know that I am? Till you die, you will have that feeling that I am. Is it an inference from anything? That looking at various things, perceptions, you are inferring that I am? Not at all. This I, that amness is a first experience for us. The moment we open our eyes from sleep, or even in the dream also, that I experience is the first thing. So, it is neither perception. If I prove by inference that you are not, are you going to accept? You will not accept. I know that I am. Similarly, our mind also. Mind is not an inference. You know that, I know that I have my mind. Whether you have a mind, I can infer, because you also behaving in the manner as I am inferring. Whether you are an artificial intelligence robo or not, that I can try to find out and conclude that no, you are not a robo, you are a human being. You have a mind. But that I have a mind, you will be able to know. The computer or the robot will be doing much more than a human being, but the poor fellow doesn't know what he does. He doesn't know that he is. That is the aparoksha jnana of that I am is. That is the aparoksha. That is, it is neither through perception nor through inference. But generally we use this aparoksha anubhuti in the form that when we have the direct perception of the self, that is, it is not the I, the knower, is knowing the self, but the self is revealing itself. That is the nirvikalpa samadhi experience. That is called the aparoksha anubhuti. There is no two. So, etad vaitat. This is what Nachiketa, indeed what Nachiketa you are asking for. Now, going from this first shloka to second shloka, there is a great transformation. Because from this first shloka, although he is saying that it is aja, it is avakracheta. Oh, I have not explained avakracheta. What is avakracheta? That means when there is no kutilata, no complexity, no non-straightforwardness in the mind. This is the greatest sadhana for us. For the aja I have explained. What is the aja? The thoughts are coming, thoughts are going, sukha is coming, dukkha is coming, going, everything is changeful. But I took the example, that witness example, where you are not changeful. You are the changeless substratum of all the changefulness. That is the aja state. You are not undergoing any change at all. But to become avakracheta, this is very important, because this is linked to the purity, where the knowledge will not be only samadhi dependent. In the other one, when I explained the aja, it is samadhi dependent. That there you are experiencing. But when you are coming out of the samadhi, it is again gone. That means again it is birth and death. That state which you experienced in samadhi, which was not there before you entered samadhi, and when is not there when you come out of the samadhi also. So it is again having birth and death. That state is having birth and death. But the Brahman doesn't have birth and death. Then how can I say I am Brahman? I was different in samadhi, I am not like that now. So again you are not aja. So you have to find out which is that which is not undergoing any change. To know that, you have to become avakracheta. That is not only in meditation, but while interacting also, to remain anchored in the truth, we have to become avakracheta. Why? This vakrata of the chetas comes from all the desires. Why are you telling lies? It may not be a gross lie. There are many subtle lies. When the Guru also is asking you something, you don't say the truth. You think that if I speak the truth, then Guru will devalue me. So you will not openly say that I have this defect. Forget about Guru, everywhere we do. But in front of Guru also we hide. That is why repeatedly they will say, Tatona vijugupsate, Tatona vijugupsate in the Upanishads. That means thereafter he doesn't hide. Why? Because transparency is a great virtue for the seeker. It is a great sadhana for the seeker. One has to become transparent like light or air. That nothing, no hiding is necessary. What are you hiding from whom? Every body, mind, personality has some defect and some gunas, virtues and all. I am not that. I am only trying to purify that body, mind, personality so that I become the universal self. So I have to see all the defects. I have to remove them. Some cases I will succeed. Some cases I may not succeed always. I will try to remove. As I have, others also have it. Where is the question of hiding? When we point out some defect to somebody, people always start looking at him or her. Suppose somebody is pointed out, then all others will look at that as if they are free of that defect. Actually, whenever any defect is spoken about, they should look within. But they think that we are all pure water and this person is the culprit. These are all desire and hiding, these are all ego. So as long as this ahankara, egotism is there, we will not become avakrachetaha. We will remain vakrachetaha. That is why a guru always prefers a very simple, innocent, straightforward disciple. Not a very learned disciple who has learned so many Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita and all. It is very difficult to change them because they have already become Pandit. But an innocent guy with a simple mind, with a clear mind, whatever you want to write, it won't take much time. That is why Yamaraja chose Nachiketa. He says that Satyadhritirvatasai, O Nachiketa, you are indeed a Satyadhriti. Satyadhriti means one who holds, one who retains the truth. He is so pure that if the truth is given, it will not get purified. If the vessel is dirty, you put pure milk in that. Either the milk will get split or it will become dirty, it will change its taste. So in the adhara, where we are putting the truth, where we are putting the words is very important. The adhara changes the words. Even the quotations of the Guru will get changed because of the impurity of the adhara. So one has to be very particular about it to keep the milk unspoiled, keep it clear. So avakra cheta is the quality of that. Straightforwardness, rijutva. Many things are used. In Ashtavakra it is used as rijutva. Muktimichhasi chetata vishayan vishavatyaja kshamarjava daya tosha satyam piyushavad bhaja. Kshama arjava. Arjava means straightforwardness. That is avakra cheta. Even subtle vakrata will be there. Why are you looking unhappy? No, I am happy. If you don't want to say that, yes, I am unhappy, but I don't want to tell you, Swamiji. Why am I unhappy? I don't want to tell you. You tell simply. Why do you say that? No, I am happy. Well, it's very common. These are all vakracheta. Whatever we are speaking, there should not be any difference between what is appearing in the mind and what we are speaking. And what the intelligence is thinking. There should be a clear flow of energy from the soul through the viveka buddhi to the mind, to the senses, everywhere. Free flow. Then you will find that decisions are not at all difficult. Pat decisions will come. Except where you have to consult experts. That is, I am not talking about that decisions. Whether I am do this or that. The confusion that comes, it is the right path or the not. It will immediately come. So, avakracheta means the decisions will be depending on the situation. Not on whether I will be blamed or he will be blamed or she will be blamed. Those considerations can come, but the decision should be impartial and impersonal. Not because of fear of anything. Not because of greed for anything. Not because of any personal gain. Not because of any fear of personal loss. These are the 4 items. Do you get it? Not because of any personal gain, any personal loss, any fear, any greed. Now, in the next verse, now whatever we have learned, this is the Avakra Cheta and this is the Aja and this is what I am. That is the main thing. He is talking about this man is holding that palace of 11 doors. This is the nature of the man. But in knowing this nature also, we will still think that that man is inside the body. He is encapsulated by the body. So directly this is the way of Upanishads. Immediately in the next verse, they will try to correct our mistake. No, he is not limited by the body. He is everywhere in the whole universe. But to locate him, to find him, to experience him, to become that, you have to look into your own body. That is your sadhana. But when you locate there and when you get merged in it, you know that the whole universe is appearing in that. He is not, cannot be missed in any perception, anywhere at all. He is all pervading. Beyond that, all is appearing in him. He cannot be missed anywhere at all. It is like the water, suppose the reflection of the moon or the sun in the water. What happens? Each wave is reflecting. Is it not so? What happens to the reflection of the moon in the wave? It is dancing, sometimes becoming half, sometimes becoming khaya hua, eaten up and all. Is it not? But is anything happening to the moon? Nothing happens to the moon. It is the changes are in the wave. Like that like the shine of the moon, the Atma is the revealer. When the body-mind personality is undergoing the changes, we think that the Atma is also undergoing the changes. To know the real nature Atma, what do we have to do? The water has to become peaceful, calm. When there is no wave, the Chandra becomes one only, the sun becomes one only. The moment the waves come, it becomes multiple. That is the multiple nature of the Atma. We feel that each body is displaying the same Atma. Millions and trillions of body all over the time span, all the jantus, all the beings, not only human beings, they are displaying the same Atma as infinite variety, infinitude. Actually, the variety is in the world, not in the Atma. It is only the reflection of the Atma. So, next verse will be that. So, here also this vakrata is in the wave. When you become avakra, calm, then it becomes one, clear. No multiplicity, nothing. You are never going to die, never going to be born again, nothing. You are always there. And for that, you don't have to die. You have to know this with your calm mind now, here itself. Etadvaitat. Om Sahana Vavatu.
Om Sahana Vavatu.
Sahanau Bhunaktu.
Sahanau Bhunaktu.
Sahaviryam Karavavahai.
Sahaviryam Karavavahai.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.